Now, back to the Adam Carolla Show.
Barry Martyr is here. Beth Kennedy is here as well. Letters from a Nut is the name of the play. It starts Wednesday, June 28th. That will be opening night. It's at the Geffen Playhouse, and it's at the Audrey Skirball Kennis Theater. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And I'll give you a website, by the way. You can get tickets at the website. Just go to geffenplayhouse.org. I'll tell you a little more about that and us. But first, welcome. And so we'll talk about the origins of the letters and how it came about.
You want me to explain how?
Sure.
These were all, well, in 1994, I was sitting there with my lady friend, Phyllis Murphy, and just mindlessly, it was like 4 o'clock in the morning, she was watching TV on one chair, and I was sitting there mindlessly eating a bag of Fritos. And you know how you read on the side of the bags and things that said, you got any problems, you want to have any questions, why don't you write Fritos? And I thought, well, who would write Fritos?
I think that every single time I see one of those things where they go, tweet us, and it's like, you're the gas company.
Right,
like, shoot us a tweet. I'm like, about what?
Sure letting this gas.
Got your pamphlets. What would you say to the gas company?
They do it with movies and stuff, and
Everything.
I'm like, why would I tweet the Guardians of the Galaxy? I'll just go watch it or something.
Well, this was in 1994, and and I thought, she wasn't listening to me. She was kind of watching television, and I was thinking, what would I say to Fritos? Would I describe what the product really is, and like I was a moron, and go, well, everything was crunchy and they were curled, and
right.
and they got orange on me and stuff like that, and so I thought, okay. So then the next day, I thought I was at the 99-cent store and I was looking at some Bon-Ami.
Bon-Ami, the powder.
You remember Bon-Ami?
Yeah, it's funny. You got to be old because when I told
cleanser.
I told my assistant, go
cleanser.
pick up some cleanser, and he went, what do we cleanse what? And I said, cleanser, and he said, to cleanse what? I
Like
said, buy
Neutrogena?
cleanser. And he said,
Yeah.
to cleanse what? What are we cleansing? I said, there's a product called cleanser. It's like, I did not know that. It's like, okay.
So I looked at the Bon-Ami, and on the side of the Bon-Ami, the guy had his stamp on there, and it said, you got any questions? You got any problems? Right to Bon-Ami, and it stamped it. It was smudgy. It was like Gordon Brewcar the Fourth or Gordon Bruman the Third, and so I actually started writing to Bon-Ami and asking them what was going on with this guy's name. Are you the Gordon Brewcar the Fourth? And he wrote me back. He actually wrote me back, and he was excited. I mean, who's writing a starch company in Kansas City? And we got into a whole weird world of him writing back, and he was reaching out. He was crying out. I think he was, he was the fourth of these Gordon Brewhart people.
It was a lifeline.
And, I was like a life coach to this man.
So then Seinfeld went over to your house and he found all the letters and he said you needed to publish them?
Well, I had been working for Jerry since, I've known Jerry for ages, but I had been writing the stand-up on Seinfeld with him.
Right.
In 90, I think it was like 90 or 89 when the show first started. We were into the fourth episode. And I was reading him these things, he was on the phone. He would call me, and I would say to him, "Hey, I just got a letter from the Prince of Wales, Prince Philip. I had told him that I enjoyed his salad recipe that I had read in one of these British movies. He didn't even have a recipe, but he wrote me back and he said, "Well, the Prince thanks you very much. He's very, because what does this guy have to do? He's just showing up places, and he really has nothing to do. Someone's writing him now. It's not about the Queen. It's not about any. It's about hey, someone's talking to me.
Right."
So I was reading them a thing, and then, Jerry, they were shooting the Seinfeld show at Radford, which was on Laurel, and I was living not too far from there, and he would come over. He liked to watch that Jerry Lewis telethon. Mm-hmm. Right at the end where Jerry gets maudlin and collapses. That was his favorite part of the telethon. He was rushing like a madman to get over there.
Right.
So he came over, and I had about 12 of these letters on the coffee table, and he was picking them up, and he was laughing. And he said, I got to take these to my agent. And, so he took them to his agent. And I said, hey, agent, I hadn't heard the word agent in show business in 7 years at this point,
Right.
And that's what started it off right there.
And then Letters from a Nut was published in the first book, 97.
97 was the first book. And he went on, I think at that time, Jay Leno and Larry King, and he promoted the book. Mm-hmm. And it was just kind of birthed naturally. People thought, because he wrote the introduction to the book, which was explaining how everything happened. So people kind of thought it was Jerry Seinfeld that was the true author of these things. And this went on for 12, 15 years, many books. And it became, some kind of a weird thing that they were convinced it was him.